Hey folks, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our retro review of the original HTC Shadow. Now, you might know that a few years back when the HTC Shadow 2 or the Shadow 2009 version was released, we actually did coverage of that and a full review on our website. But the original Shadow came back even before that, and it was, more old-fashioned in many ways, but at the same time, it still contains some of the core functions of a smartphone we still see in today's market. Now, what makes this device kind of interesting to take a retro look back at is because this is one of the few HTC devices that uses both a non-touchscreen display but also combines a QWERTY keyboard or a SureType style keyboard, and in fact it's one of the only smartphones to do that to come out of HTC's camp. So it makes it very small and also compact and relatively elegant, so it appealed not to just the productivity folks or road warriors, but it could also work as an entertainment device. And that was rare back in the day when Windows Mobile was the operating system. So we did have something that was quite special. In terms of basic functionality and basic amounts of different features on board, we do have a fully decked phone on here. We have Wi-Fi, there's Bluetooth, there's GPS. Of course, we do have cellular data connectivity, and so all the features on here you would really expect on a modern-day smartphone. So let's take a look at how this device, we can unlock it. In terms of the UI, we have something called Neo, which has been optimized just for the HTC Shadow. Basically, we have this carousel view that simplifies the functionality of a Windows smartphone to a large extent. And so you have the ability to cycle through your different images, your photos, your applications in a much easier way. So it's almost like a precursor to HTC's TouchFlow or HTC Sense on Android. So kind of interesting in that department. Of course, the Shadow came on with T-Mobile service. It's a quad-band GSM world phone, and it weighed 150 grams. And also, for a non-touchscreen device, it had a large screen measuring 2.8 inches diagonally, but it wasn't a touchscreen display. Processor-wise, we're talking about a 524 megahertz processor, so not that speedy by today's standards, but it more than did a job for Windows Mobile Standard Edition. It also had 256 megabytes of ROM, 128 megabytes of RAM, so not the fastest in the world. But anyways, again, we did have that Wi-Fi, we did have My Faves for calling and Bluetooth, so all the core functions were really there. You could install from thousands of free online Windows mobile applications, and again, really just customize this device, even if you wanted to use it for entertainment or for business. Taking a closer look at the design, again, it's relatively elegant, even though it looks less sleek than the 2009 version of the HTC Shadow. We do have basically a phone that is the same slimness and the same dimensions. It just has sharper edges in general. We can see the display looks really sleek just because it has this kind of flat finish to it, or slate form factor by today's standards. There's a earpiece on top and LED notification light. There's two soft keys, a home key, a back key, standard for Windows Mobile, a talk and end key, and also a 5-way navigation toggle, an OK button that dubs as a scroll wheel, kind of like on the iPod, so you can use it to control your music, control your web browsing. And when we lift up this spring-assisted keyboard, we have a backlit SureType cell keyboard, kind of the same type that you find on a BlackBerry Pearl. So it combines 2 keys per actual button, but it actually is a pretty easy to use experience just because there's predictive text, and you can actually get a very fast speed on this and save quite a bit of time just by texting out messages. So it's great for texting, great for messaging, and also for web browsing in general. On the right-hand edge, there's a dedicated key or soft key you could actually customize. There's also a toggle that you can press to activate the camera. On the other side, there was a micro SD card slot for expanding the memory. There's also access to a volume rocker that was pretty tactile and easy to press, and also a mini or micro USB for charging and syncing. On the back of the device, you had access to the MyFace logo and also HTC logo, a 2-megapixel fixed focus camera, a loudspeaker, and behind the battery door, the battery, and also the SIM card. The entire phone here came in different colors. We have the gold version, and also comes decked in a soft touch layer, which, although makes the phone grippy, over time decays, and so kind of makes the entire surface almost sticky, which gets a bit icky, I guess, if you're looking at it in a retro sense. But at the same time, it does make the device pretty easy to hold in the hand. So if we wanted to go back and take a look at the menu again, it's pretty simplistic. We have access to the phone, we have access to our notifications, messages, we can scroll sideways to get more information, our calendar and appointments, browse the web, look at music, and also take a look at songs that were included on here, and also our images, and manage our connections, including Bluetooth, battery, and ringtones. So taking a look at the Start menu here, we have the traditional UI for Windows Mobile. There wasn't too much bloatware going on here, but there were a few that were pre-installed by T-Mobile. Like T-Mobile Hotspot, you could actually use this phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot, which was kind of interesting. Internet Explorer for web browsing, which is pretty mediocre, but you could always install Opera Mini or a different web browser to speed up the overall experience. There's MSN messaging, there's a communication manager for you to access and to change the Wi-Fi settings, and to change Bluetooth settings for stereo audio. We're going to turn on Wi-Fi here in a moment. There's also Windows Media Player for playing back your different tracks and also for your videos. We also have access to some different functions on here, inclusive of File Manager, a live search functionality that will automatically search the web. There's Windows Live on here, and also a few additional applications that we can take a closer look at. So applications here, if we press on that drawer, you can see it's a slight delay, but not too bad at all. There's Adobe Reader LE for more productivity, Java applications, and a video recorder. As far as camera goes, the camera on here, again, 2 megapixels is quite small, but images at least look pretty realistic in terms of color saturation. It's just the focusing's a bit off, and of course images don't look that sharp just because of that limited resolution. But at the same time, it was pretty fast and easy to capture an image, and it's actually not the worst camera we've seen, but images again tended to look a little bit washed out in general. You can also record video, but you're kind of limited. You could zoom in, do a bit of digital zooming, but again, pretty limited there. HTC used their basic kind of menu interface that we've seen in the past on Windows mobile devices, like the HTC Touch, just to customize. Again, some slight amount of sluggishness overall. Again, we can zoom in and out. This is the sports mode. There's no flash, no vanity mirror, or anything like that. There's also, again, that video recorder. So taking a look at some other features on here, we do have a few basic games built on here. So those are limited to the basic standard ones, such as Bubble Breaker, where you kind of go around and break apart the bubbles that have the same color. So it's a famous game that comes with all Windows mobile devices in Solitaire. And in addition, there's Office Mobile. So like on any Windows mobile device, it's going to really heavily push productivity, where you can edit and create Excel, mobile, OneNote, PowerPoint, and also Word documents. So that's pretty important if you do want to get some work done on the road. So I can create a new document if I wanted to. My device, I can search on my documents. Kind of unique to this phone included voice memos or voice notes that was customized by HTC to match the design language of the UI going on. And when we talk about bloatware, we talk about things like there's voice commands on here, but there's also stuff like Handingo and Hand that we don't typically find, on other versions. There's T-zones. Those are all things, T-Mobile address book, all things that we don't typically find that kind of T-Mobile customize in order to add some programs on here. But you could always remove those if you wanted to by yourself, if you wanted to take up less space, although space isn't really an issue on Windows Mobile as far as operating system goes. Things remain pretty speedy and responsive, you can see overall. As far as displays go, you can see how the display in general does a pretty good job. Viewing angles are pretty wide, and even outdoors, things are still pretty bright and vibrant. Of course, the screen resolution is limited by today's standards, but you can see in a general sense, it's still relatively easy to see, and images are still pretty crisp, surprisingly. If we want to take a quick look at how the web browsing experience using the built-in Internet Explorer, it worked, but it was far from ideal. Again, you can use the scroll wheel to kind of go through different web pages. Things were a bit sluggish, but at least over Wi-Fi, pages didn't load too slowly, and you can see this is the CN page, it loads the mobile page. You can also go to favorites to kind of take a look at some other pages. Just give you an idea of how fast, I guess, the pages in general load. Let's try eBay now. So again, over Wi-Fi speeds are still a little bit sluggish just because of the processor and because Internet Explorer here is way outdated. There are even newer versions of the Internet Explorer app that I can go and kind of upgrade, I suppose, to keep things a bit more current. Otherwise, as far as the phone is concerned, the phone quality on here is actually pretty good. Actually, call quality is excellent, the microphone built in here is excellent, and the speaker on the back is actually extremely loud. So callers will hear you even if you're in a bit of a noisier environment, which is always nice. And on the other hand of the spectrum, battery life is on the shorter side. Even back in the day, it can only last about 2 to 3 days before you had to recharge it, which is a bit unfortunate. And that battery life even goes down faster if you turn on Wi-Fi and other wireless services, which is a bit surprising considering this isn't even a touchscreen device. But perhaps if you use the keyboard a lot or other features, you can definitely see a drainage in that battery. So just taking a look at the general keyboard, if I wanted to search something, let's try typing phone. You can see that basically I would type 2 letters at a time, and it does a good job of using predictive text to see what I'm trying to type. And so the speed actually comes out to be relatively fast and responsive. So overall, the experience is actually pretty good. And not too shabby at all, I guess. Using Bluetooth, again, you can connect to Bluetooth speakers and other accessories to listen to music, which also works pretty well as an MP3 player and media device. And again, you can see you can refine your search just to take a look at things. More complex pages, such as New York Times, will take significantly longer to load, but at least it will work, and there is a version of Google Maps you can install with a built-in GPS for turn-by-turn navigational directions. I would say that you can also sync this with the computer for more standard kind of smartphone organizer features and functions. The alarm works as well. There's a calendar, calculator, all those basic functions are included on here. So if we kind of exit out of that, the web browsing experience, you can see that it does work. It's a bit limited by today's standards, but at least you do have that functionality built on to the... Overall, I'd say it's definitely interesting taking a retro look back at the HTC Shadow, one of the only HTC devices with a non-touchscreen display that was released on T-Mobile and here in the States, and it combined an interesting SureType keyboard that I found to be pretty responsive and easy to use with the Windows Mobile UI, but thankfully the new interface on top of the experience made things a bit more bearable, and so you had a better experience in terms of functionality. And surprisingly, it wasn't too bad in terms of using the phone in general. Call quality was excellent, it's easy to text on, and you can definitely browse the web a bit if you have a bit more patience, I guess. Some critiques that I did have for this phone would be the limited battery life, and the fact that you can see there is a bit of lag in some of the places, especially because of all the animations happening on the device in general. But overall, even in today's standards, it's not a bad smartphone at all. If you aren't looking for too many applications on a phone, I guess it would still make for a pretty good messaging phone / basic smartphone. You can check out our original review for this device, which was released way back then on our site, but for now, this has been a retro video look back at the original HTC Shadow. Thanks for watching this retro review here at OS Reviews. This has been, again, the HTC Shadow original iteration.